So we just completed spring commencements. I want to thank all of the regents who were able to participate in one or more. It's the best time of year for most of us at the university when we see the smiling faces of students and their families. I'm just going to mention two things that I noted. I only managed to participate in 4 commencements this year. One was I did participate on Maui, and it was striking to me that we had graduates from 5 of the 10 UH campuses participating in commencement there, with about 140 credentials awarded from campuses other than Maui College. So that speaks to the strength of how we work together and our distance learning programs. Of note was we had the first graduates from Windward Community College's veterinary technology program on Maui. Similarly, at Palamanui, our newest campus in West Hawaii, we had graduates from 4, and we should be able to get that one up to 5 also. But it's really a testament to the parts of the system working together on behalf of students in the state. It's kind of ironic that Chris mentioned the general education, and there is interest in improving it, particularly the efficiency of the process that we use now, but also the comprehensibility for students. But that said, we have on the agenda today something that's really important for how we work together as a system, and that is the literally one day after the adoption of the Integrated Academic and Facilities Plan, we got good news from Hilo that the faculty there had agreed to embrace the same general education requirements as the rest of the system. So up until now, we've had 8 campuses aligned, and then the 2 Hilo campuses were separate. And at the conclusion of this meeting, hopefully you will approve the recommendations from UH Hilo and Hawaii Community College. We will all be aligned, and then hopefully we will take whatever steps together to move forward. But this is really important for fostering transfer and articulation for all of our campuses to work together. I wanted to mention a couple matters relating to security, and you will get a Title IX update, and we've had a lot of focus on that over the past several years. But we're really proud of UH Mānoa was selected as one of the nation's top schools with the best campus safety resources. And this comes out of the collegestats.org organization, and they ranked the large universities in the country, and we ended up 7 out of 113 large universities. And I want to thank, that's a concerted effort. It doesn't happen by accident. That is Deb Hubler, Randy West, who has been our chief, who unfortunately just left us for family reasons, but our entire Department of Public Safety at Mānoa contributed to that, the focus on improving communications. Another area of security where we use that word that most people don't think about is food security and insecurity. And there has been a lot of attention nationally and locally about the challenges for students who are pressed with affordability in general and the high cost of living in Hawaii, with whether or not they have enough money for adequate and nutritious food. We do have a UH Mānoa faculty member who is now conducting a research study of Mānoa students to understand their food security status and needs, and we think this, once we get through it and see how it goes, that can be a model for a system-wide study. And I'm also working with the Council of Chancellors to look at the programs we have on our campuses and which of them might be models for other campuses. This is something that each campus has done on its own, and that's probably appropriate, but there's probably some sharing of knowledge. A couple campuses have food pantry programs, a couple campuses have relationships with the Hawaii Food Bank, which is, I didn't realize this, is actually a wholesaler of food distribution. They don't really give food to hungry people. They give food to entities that give food to hungry people. And that's a real opportunity for our campuses to be helping our students. Many of you are aware that just a few years ago, we restarted the President's Emerging Leadership Program after it had been on hiatus. We did this with the goal of having at least one qualified internal applicant for any jobs that we're advertising within the university. I'm pleased to report that last month we completed our 2015-16 cohort. This is a year-long professional development program. This year we had 25, which is typical. It is faculty and staff from all 10 campuses and the UH system. The big change this year was a focus on projects, and I'll just mention the projects so you get a feel for how we are engaging these teams on problems that actually matter to the University of Hawaii. The projects they worked on were transfer student success, sustainability education, cultivating student philanthropy, a Hawaii Papa'okeau survey, and near and dear to many of your hearts, monetization of land assets. And I also want to thank not only the Pelpers and the program organizers, but the mentors who worked with them. I see in the room Hei Okimoto, who worked with the transfer group. Calbert worked with the monetization group and ditched meetings with me several times to work with them. Donna Vucinic worked with the Cultivating Philanthropy and Students group. So we have our core senior administrators and executives working with our PELP students to really acquaint them with our challenges and our opportunities. Let me close with a couple of introductions. First, Joe Garcia, if you'll stand up for just a minute. Joe is the new president of WICHE, the Western Interstate Commission on Higher Education, and he happens to be in town. So, he follows David Longenecker, who many of you know. David was with WICHE for about 17 years, so a lot of people don't remember anyone other than David in this role. David, by the way, is now driving big rigs after he retired from WICHE, which was his lifelong dream, so live your retirement. Joe was previously the lieutenant governor and chair of the Colorado Department of Higher Education, and he was the president of a couple colleges in Colorado as well, Colorado State University Pueblo and Pikes Peak Community College, which is one of the second largest community college in Colorado. Hawaii is active in a number of WICHE programs. The one that we hear about the most is the Western Undergraduate Exchange. We bring in about 2,500 students into our Hawaii universities from the Western states through this program. Those students are assessed 150% of resident tuition. So that's a pretty significant number for us. A second one is the WICHE Mental Health Program, which has assisted the state departments of health, education, and public safety in developing a psychology internship program, which was just accredited. We're very proud, and those students are celebrating the graduation, which is actually why Joe's here. We'll be celebrating that tomorrow. And then more personally, when I was charged to lead the office that was first developing statewide distance education programs in Hawaii, the WICHE Cooperative for Educational Telecommunications was one of the leading edge groups that helped us learn from our peers as this was going on around the country. So that's just a small sampling of WICHE programs, and I will ask Cindy to distribute. It's a small 4-pager about Hawaii's participation in WICHE to give you all a feel for what we're up to. Then lastly, as part of the President's remarks, I want to introduce Luke Flynn, if you'll stand up. I mentioned Luke's name a couple months ago when we were at West Oahu. Luke was recognized as the UH Employee of the Year nominee to the Governor's Award for Employee of the Year. Luke is the director of the Hawaii Space Grant Consortium, director of Hawaii Space Flight Laboratory. These programs have brought in tens of millions of dollars into Hawaii and UH. He oversaw the production of our first space rocket for the launch off of Kauai, which was a collaborative program. He's also oversees the Undergraduate Fellowship Program, which engages undergraduate students one-on-one with researchers. It's a big part of what we try to do at UH Mānoa. But as a good citizen of the system, he also helped the community colleges with the IMUA program, which has been Dan's favorite program to promote as we have our community college students building satellite payloads to be launched off of NASA rockets, getting real-world STEM education through project-based learning. It's a signature program for the University of Hawaii system. And we always like to quote what his colleague said. He has been an inspiration, catalyst, and driving force for engaging students and faculty in aerospace education and career awareness. And he has single-handedly been the space program for the University of Hawaii and many of the state's efforts. So thank you very much, Luke. And Madam Chair, if you will join me in a moment of congratulations.